Deana Sumanac is here to talk about the comedian's troubled legacy. And Deana, how have these accusations and now these charges put an impact on Cosby's career?
I think this is something really, Lindsay, that's been unrivaled in Hollywood history, because he was such a looming figure. So many of us have grown up watching him on The Cosby Show. Other generations have watched him in the 70s. And so his fall has also been of such magnitude. Everything from NBC in 2014, they've halted the development of a new sitcom starring Bill Cosby. A number of universities, I've counted about half a dozen universities, have actually revoked honorary degrees that they have bestowed upon him. I've heard that many famous comedians like David Letterman and Jerry Seinfeld asked for their quotes to be removed from his book. So we're talking about people really wanting to not have any associations with him that has really cost him in both money and in personal reputation. And I've actually had a bit of a personal experience with this. Earlier this year, in February of this year, I was actually sent to report from those Ontario tour dates that weren't canceled during the Bill Cosby tour, because so many of the dates in the US were canceled. And as I was reporting on it, I was getting tweets from people. He was such a polarizing influence that some people were saying, you know, why are you even there giving this man more publicity than he deserves? And others were defending him, saying, you know, these accusations at that time had not been proven. We don't know that they might be false. They're trying to bring down a great man. So really a polarizing figure. But obviously, as time goes by, and especially with these newest charges, I think it's getting to be more and more difficult to stand by him.
And yet there are some people who continue to be on Cosby's side in all this.
That's right. And most notably, what I find so interesting about this is that it's been women. We know Felicia Rashad, who has played his wife on The Cosby Show, was one of his most avid supporters. And then later on this summer, she had said that she was misquoted about that. Whoopi Goldberg, the famous comedian, also called herself a friend to Bill Cosby for many, many months after. And then this summer, again, she revoked that statement. And singer Jill Scott, a person much younger than Cosby, who called him her mentor, quoted how much he has done for the image of African Americans in the entertainment industry. She also stood by his side, but also revoked her tweets later on, and said that when she read some of the allegations by some of the women, she decided that she had been wrong. So it's interesting that it's been actually women in the entertainment industry who had been on his side during the past year and a half. And Judd Apatow, not a man I would call a feminist right off the bat, the producer and director, who had actually been one of his most vehement opponents in the social media. And by the way, speaking of institutions, the Smithsonian actually is the one. They have this big art exhibition that's been donated by Bill Cosby and his wife Camille, and they have not removed it. They haven't canceled it. They've come under fire for it.
It's still there.
But it's still, yeah, you would know that. It's still there. So some institutions, especially as respected as the Smithsonian, are still standing by him. So I think we're going to see that polarizing effect continue to develop.
And the challenge is, of course, to separate the brutal accusations as they pile up from the legacy and the good works.
Exactly, and we were just saying, like, something like The Cosby Show and what it did for the image of African Americans in pop culture, it could still be positive even if the man himself is viewed in a negative light now.
Thanks, Deana.
You're welcome.